Tom Hauser here with another midweek blessing. Hey, we're starting a new section of the scriptures in our GP Reads reading plan. We're starting to read through the Book of Proverbs. If you haven't yet watched the video from Monday's reading, it's a great video that just kind of explains what Proverbs are and what Proverbs aren't. Let me just give a little recap of what Proverbs are intended for, and that is Proverbs are intended to give us wisdom, or not just knowledge, not just intellectual knowledge, but wisdom, applied knowledge, knowing what to do at the right time for the right reason. Proverbs are not promises, they are probabilities. Proverbs are not laws, this is the way things are going to happen. They are, in fact, ways of describing the way God intends things to happen, the way He designed His world to be. Things don't always work out the way Proverbs say they will, but things often work out the way Proverbs say they will. Proverbs help us do life. Proverbs help us do life in a wise way. And there's a lot of different ways to read Proverbs, but I'm going to suggest one to you over the next month as you read through the Book of Proverbs. And that is this. Throughout the Book of Proverbs, at least in the New International Version of the Scripture, there are 5 different kinds of people described, 5 different kinds of people that are described in the Book of Proverbs. I want to give you those 5 types real quick, and I do this so that as you're reading through the Book of Proverbs, I would just encourage you to keep these 5 kinds of people in mind, keep a lookout for what Proverbs says about them, and use these 5 types of people to help you discern what's going on around you in the world as you watch the news, as you interact with people, as you go to work, as you drive around, as you're at the grocery store, as you see other people, and to use these 5 types of people as you discern what's going on in your life, how you're thinking and acting and being, how you might be described as one of these 5, and how you might be more like one and less like another. There's 5 kinds of people in Proverbs. Here's the 5. The first is the wise or the righteous or the prudent person. It's described 149 times in the Book of Proverbs. This is a person who's devoted to doing good, a person who fears the Lord, a person who seeks out wisdom and exercises good judgment. 149 times Proverbs speaks to this kind of person. The second is the wicked. 83 times Proverbs speaks about the wicked person. This is a person who is devoted to evil, a godless person, a truly evil person bent on destruction and evil, the wicked person. Number 3, Proverbs speaks of the fool. 67 times Proverbs talks about a fool. And a fool simply is someone who is stupid. I'm not being crass, that's just what the word means. A fool is someone who is stupid. Fools don't know anything, but they are unlikely to learn anything because they think they know everything. Let me say that again. Fools don't know anything, but they're unlikely to learn anything because they think they know everything. Proverbs speaks a lot about the fool. Number 4, Proverbs speaks about the simple. 16 times it talks about the simple. These are just people who are naive or inexperienced, young people, people who haven't experienced different parts of life. They just don't know. The naive have a tendency to believe anything because they haven't experienced anything. They don't know. When the latest whim comes through culture, they just buy in because it seems like the right thing. They haven't experienced enough life yet to understand what is true and what is false, the simple. And finally, the mocker. 16 times Proverbs talks about the mocker. These are prideful, arrogant, know-it-all people. These are people who look down on everyone else as though they are particularly enlightened, particularly wise, particularly awesome. So there's 5 types of people: the wise, the wicked, the fool, the simple, and the mocker. And what I want to encourage you this week, as you observe everyday life in other people's lives, as well as more specifically for your life, where do you see these 5 types of people represented? What does Proverbs have to say about how to interact with those kinds of people? What does it say about how to think about those sorts of people? And for yourself, what does it say if you want to be more like that kind of person? Specifically, hopefully, if you want to be more like a wise person, what are some things that you could do or should do? Let me just give you one example from the last part of Proverbs chapter 1. It says this, starting in verse 32, "For the waywardness of the simple will kill them, and the complacency of fools will destroy them. But whoever listens to me being wisdom, whoever listens to wisdom will live in safety and be at ease without fear of harm." Now again, this proverb is not saying that this is the way it always works out. that the simple will die, that the fools will be destroyed, and that those who are wise will live at ease and without fear of harm. But it does say this is the way life generally works. This is how God has set things up. This is the way it usually plays out in life. And so if you think about what this is saying, let me reword it just slightly. For the waywardness of the naive and inexperienced will kill them, and the complacency of the stupid, those who don't know anything but are unlikely to learn anything because they think they know everything. The complacency of people like that will end up destroying them. But whoever listens to wisdom, whoever is wise or righteous or prudent, will live in safety and be at ease without fear of harm. At least on the inside, in their hearts, the wise person will have no fear of harm because they serve and worship an all-powerful, all-loving, all-knowing God. The Book of Proverbs. There is a wisdom to be found in the Book of Proverbs that is priceless. And I would just invite each of us to read each chapter each day, looking even if it's just for one proverb that sticks out to us that day. And to keep an eye out for what Proverbs have to say about these 5 kinds of people. And may we be more like the wise person as we read this wisdom literature over the next couple of months. Till next time, peace, friends.